Well, I think A Clash of Kings just revealed its central question. What does it cost to rule? Because in these chapters, every character is forced to answer that. And almost every answer is horrifying. Theon just becomes a tyrant to hold what he stole. Jon refuses to become a killer and might have doomed himself. Sansa becomes a woman and realizes that means becoming a political object. And Tyrion prepares to save a city through fire and blood. And underneath all of it, there's the haunting idea that there's no clean way to hold power. First of all, Theon's storyline here is devastating. And honestly, it's very Tolkien adjacent, but in a negative sense. In Tolkien, identity is rooted in true belonging. Aragorn returns to Gondor. Frodo belongs to the Shire. But Theon, he belongs nowhere. We read his words, Stark's castle, Stark's gods. This is their place, not mine. This is pure exile. Not physical, but spiritual. And what does he do to compensate? He becomes cruel. He executes innocent men, butchers the miller's boys, tries to rule through fear. But here's the key. Too much mercy and they call you weak. Too little and you're monstrous. This is like I highlighted that line. I mean, I'm using the Kindle book through Libby, but like using my finger, I highlighted the line in the ebook. It's too much mercy and they call you weak, too little and you're monstrous. Theon is discovering power without legitimacy turns you into a monster. And it echoes C.S. Lewis's idea in The Abolition of Man. When you reject objective order, you don't become free. You become ruled by impulse. Theon isn't choosing justice. He's reacting to fear. And fear is a terrible king. And then we have Jon's moment with Ygritte, which is just a very powerful moment. He's told, do what needs to be done, which basically means to kill her. And this is where Martin flips Tolkien, because in Tolkien, killing is sometimes necessary, like the orcs or the Nazgul, but here the enemy is human. And he says there was no evil in her. That line, just everything. There was no evil in her. Jon is caught between his duty to the Night's Watch and his compassion in recognizing humanity. And he chooses mercy. But the twist is the narrative doesn't reward him. Again, this is where Martin diverges from Tolkien, and it feels very Charles Williams uh, Charles, something like Williams's ideas of substitution and bearing another's burden, because John absorbs the moral weight instead of escaping it. He refuses to become less human, even if it costs him. And then Sansa's section is brutal, but not in the way you may be expecting. Um, this is the death of Sansa's romantic worldview. She, well, it's her first menstruation. Uh, but it's not a moment of growth, it's a moment of danger. We get the line, it was as if her own body had betrayed her to Joffrey. Just a chilling line. Her own body, the natural biological process of her own body being a traitor, essentially, to her. Sansa realizes in this world, womanhood means political vulnerability. And then Cersei drives that knife deeper, saying love is poison. Martin's dismantling here fairy tales, courtly love, and chivalry. Meanwhile, in Tolkien, Eowyn's femininity becomes strength, and love redeems, as we see with Aragorn and Arwen. But in Martin, love is weaponized, beauty is dangerous, and innocence gets punished. And then we come to Jaime, which just a very important philosophical passage. We read so many vows. No matter what you do, you're forsaking one or the other. Pure moral conflict. Jaime is essentially saying there is no perfect moral system. Every choice breaks something or betrays something, which is radically different from the moral clarity in Tolkien and Lewis. And Lewis acknowledges moral conflict, but he insists there's still a right answer. Jaime, on the other hand, suggests the system itself is broken, and that's terrifying. And then we come to Tyrion as he is preparing for battle. He's preparing with this mindset: madness is better than defeat. That line is chilling. It reveals even the good ruler will use horror if necessary. So throughout these chapters, we see with Theon, we see his choice is fear and the cost is his humanity. With Jon, we see his choice is mercy and his cost is safety. With Sansa, her choice is survival and the cost is her innocence. And with Tyrion, the choice is victory and the cost is morality. So, here's the biggest Tolkien contrast yet. Tolkien believed in something that he called the eucatastrophe, that is the sudden turn toward the happy ending. That when everything seems hopeless, then there's a sudden turn. But Martin either delays it or questions it or maybe even denies it. Not exactly sure which of those, but there's no guarantee, at least doesn't feel like it, that mercy will win or honor will survive or truth will prevail. The question I keep coming back to is John right to show mercy if it might cost lives later? And even bigger, is Theon evil or just what anyone becomes when they try to hold power without belonging? If Tolkien gives us a world where good is real and ultimately victorious, then Martin gives us a world where good must fight to even survive. So anyway, I'll see y'all next time when I read the last little bit of this second book. Almost there to the end of book 2. I'll see y'all next time.